Okay, so last time I introduced you to subroutines, we used global variables. So let's just have a quick rehash. So I found my repetitive code, and all I did was I took a copy of that repetitive code and I put it into its own sub, and I believe I call it draw square. And I'm just going to paste it in there. And so now what we can do is anywhere we see that code, we can replace it with call draw square. And so there's the redundant code. I can put it there. I can replace that, and I can replace that. Now, what you will notice is, again, length is not declared, though it is declared here. It's local, which means it only exists inside this subroutine. Therefore, it doesn't exist inside this subroutine. So, if we then move that up to up here and declare it as a global variable, and make sure that it's an integer, okay, now this will exist inside the main sub as well as the draw square. So let's just make sure this still works. And there we go. Okay, so it still works. Now, the problem with this is, again, you've got a global variable, and global variables aren't necessarily the best thing to use because they do take up memory, and especially when you're programming for smaller machines that have less memory, well, they can be hard to it can be hard to manage the memory, and it can take up a lot of memory. So look, it's just, if you can avoid using global variables, don't. So look, all I'm going to do, I'm going to move this back down into here. Alright, so I know that length is an integer, and what I want to do is I can add a parameter, which basically means I'm going to pass a copy of that. So I'm going to pass it length as integer. Alright, so now what this is saying is that in order for this square to work, this draw square method to work, I need to give it a length, a length of integer. So you see now it's underlined, and it's saying, oh wait, according to the definition you need to give it an integer. Well, in this case I want to give it length. Now, I know this looks confusing that these two are the same, but in fact this is a copy of the value that's in there. So I could actually change this to just call it len, and then I would have to change this to len as well. And now, hopefully you can kind of see that there passes a copy of itself into here. So if this is 50, 50 will come in here, so it will draw a square that is 50 pixels by 50 pixels. Alright, now, oh yep, so again, here it's saying that we haven't actually said, we haven't given the integer, so we're going to pass in length, we're going to pass in length, and we're going to pass in length. Alright, so let's just make sure it works. And it still works. Now let's just watch what the program does. We're just going to step in through this, so I'll show you exactly what happens. So remember, this is the line of code that's executing right now. And we're just going to step over that. It's going to set the speed, set the pen width, set the color, set the position. Now we know that length is 40. And so we can step into that, and notice it jumps right down to here. And look, len is now 40. So that's the value that we passed in, was 40. Okay? And it's going to move and turn and move and turn 4 times. And then it's going to go back to where it was here, and it's going to continue on with the next set of line where it resets the color, and so on and so forth. Now, if I want, I can actually draw now different length squares. So maybe on this one I want to draw in 50 pixels, this one is 60, and this one is 70, and watch what happens to them now. It should draw different size squares. Oh, let's get rid of that breakpoint. And as you can see, there's the 40, 50, 60, and 70 pixels. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what parameters are all about. So go on to the next exercises. Good luck.